Howdy gang, it's Stuck on Pandora here with loot opening number 6. What a journey we've had, folks. My original goal here was 10 loot openings, and that'd be 1,000,000 credits in loot packs. So we're over halfway there. Let's see if support continues on these videos. We can't take it even further. As usual, this will be a soapbox, state of the game from my perspective. Having had enough time to grind another 100k credits out and experience the game, its battle plans, updates during that time. I got 3 things I want to talk about today, which is Battleborn's potential free-to-play model, the state of the gear, and the winter update draft mode. Let's dig in. So, free-to-play. I can go to Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, and grab the game for $10 right now, which sounds about right in price to me. Granted, I paid 80 bucks right at Get and Go for the Digital Deluxe, and it's been well worth. But I have a cool dude in my stream named Freak Show, and he tells me you can own the whole of Smite for $30. And that seems like a pretty good model, and I think I've argued that before. I hear good things about Smite, and it seems cool that you can buy the entire game instead of being stuck in the perpetual microtransaction loop. Alright, so beating a dead horse for the moment to argue for free-to-play is Dota and League are both free, and their multiplayer experiences due to Battleborn still lacking a visible elo, credible competitive scene has more depth at the moment. Pre-winter update, I wasn't sure whether the game was throwing in the towel for the inevitable Borderlands 3, or from the Kotaku leak stating that the game was going free-to-play if vendors had lowered the price because they had gained an inside word that the game was going to go free-to-play, so they were just trying to get rid of their stock as soon as possible. Randy Pitchford called the article false and dangerous. Later he says a demo is incoming. Granted, Kotaku also loves to beat on Battleborn. As the winter update dropped, this was the site that said the game might get a couple dozen more players. So, when it comes to the population problem plaguing Battleborn, which exacerbates a matchmaking time and quality issue, I've argued that the potential is still there in the ranked preview zeitgeist just because the video game market is so big, but they have to earn it. I've heard it argued and read it argued that the industry's current trend of trying to keep games alive for years on end isn't great for video games. However, enter the winter update of Battleborn, a GUI overhaul, 60 FPS, 1080p, 18 gig monster, and we're not talking about a zombie hanging on hope when it comes to Battleborn anymore. My argument remains the same. A Smite model. There's ops, there's PvE campaign, there's a deep multiplayer experience. Battleborn is unique, it's creative, and the devs are active. We just need players, and the competition is vast that Battleborn is up against. Yes, not just Overwatch. Free to play. A free player can use all 25 characters, making them perhaps more likely to get hooked on a favorite. They can get to CR rank 30, they can equip up to epic gear, 3 gear loadouts, limited bank space, and the first 2 campaign missions. They can bring characters to level 10, they can queue and play as much PvP as they'd like. This at least gives Battleborn a nice boost in the player pool. The game should be able to speak for itself, and the recent tutorial and training mode should reduce many of the previous woes. This is totally on 2K, I imagine at this point. Players can then pay 10 or 15 bucks for the base content. The PvE missions, command rank to 150, the ability to grow their loadouts and vault space, mastery of Battleborn, etc. Finally, we have the plethora of microtransactions now available, the boosts, OP, DLC characters, DLC ops. There's so much content across a broad spectrum inside Borderlands arena shooter, I don't know how it could fail to capture market share. This is conjecture, but I believe the game is going to go free to play, at least with a demo, a free to play PvP demo. And it's all in the gear, which is the second topic of conversation, but I don't think it's going to hurt the game if they go free to play with the PvP and give people a taste with the boosts and the ops and being able to buy all the campaign missions, the skins, etc. I think there's enough microtransaction there to make the game quite profitable. Let's talk about the current state of gear in Battleborn. With the winter update, legendaries were made so very powerful and new, and I like this. I'm cool with this. The gear system in Battleborn is my favorite element of the game. However, whilst the legendaries and gear altogether have remained useful, if not more useful than ever, the obstacles, RNG, and grind to get this gear has often gotten much more difficult, if not locked behind a paywall altogether. The core packs, despite the company line about them being an improvement, you'll get a guaranteed epic, there's 5 pieces instead of 3, and then I do see that it simplifies the system. It puts this RNG nastiness of taunt skins and pack-dependent legendaries all into one box. So the 20-sided dice has gone to 150-sided dice. Why? because it bottlenecks players to either dig into the PvE or embrace the best farming in the game by buying an op. Operations thus far have been super. I love the style, dialogue, extra lore, and their design. Oscar Mike's seems the best one yet, and I feel sticks most to their philosophy as discussed within their streams of these multi-run, speed-run, loot dungeons. However, they are not veiling that these operations are now the only way to get faction packs. And faction packs hold these obnoxious legendaries that are tied to the pack. Why would legendaries become uber, faction packs get locked behind operations, and core packs upping the RNG of farming just that right piece of gear exponentially? I'm assuming it's to bottleneck players into the necessity of boosts, buying, and running the ops. I'm for it. I don't mind DLC characters and gear being a little out of line for those that have been funding this game. However, I'm still harping on the same line. Those loot pack only legendaries, they suck. Not the legendaries themselves, but the RNG involved. So why make it exponentially harder to get these? Why is there only one legendary attached to the operation bosses when 5 or 6 new legendaries have been introduced with each one? I applaud in a big way the new legendaries being added to the game. Thank you for that, Gearbox. But why can't we farm them? Why is half the loot pool stuck behind these packs? Especially the core pack. I'm well over 600k in these packs, and I still haven't seen the one specific item I've been farming for 6 months now, a Comeback King. I have not seen one of these in over 600,000 credits because of this system. Exacerbating things is getting a bad roll on these items. I've opened hundreds of generate packs to get a solar sustainer, got one, got a low roll, and can't get one to pop since. If this was due to my skill, I can't farm PvE very well, or I'm not taking the time to do boss runs, that's cool with me, that's fair, but it being down to luck and perpetual grinding is crummy. Now, when I mention PvE farming, I don't mean in the style of Heliophage, because that's an entirely different can of worms, an entirely different section of BS, but I mean the ops. The operations do it right. Just put the loot into those bosses. I think we've all been let down to see a Ria's Encore for the nth time. Oh, and LLC gear is still just plain bad. Okay, finally, let's talk about the winter update, the little bit that we haven't covered yet, because we've talked about the gear system overhaul, we've talked about the 1080p 60 FPS, we haven't talked about the draft. That's what I want to talk about. The draft functions great. It works really well. How the design of it is, and the UI, and the speed of it is okay, but its implementation is all wrong. I've got a playlist of over a dozen videos arguing for the ranked previews I call it, and I know all the counter arguments, and mostly they go this. There's one single argument, it's one counter argument, it says there's not enough players. Well, I've got an idea for this, they're all answered in the video, but I'm going to capstone it soon on how I'd implement the draft, and the issue of, oh, there's not enough players should be out the window with it. Still, not to be dogmatic, it's about discussion, so discuss. Beyond that, Gearbox is not only tightening the screws on their game, they're building a better game. Yeah, that's what the winter update has done. It has laid the foundation to build a better and better game. I'd love to see the loot system stepped up that one extra notch. We PvE players, we farmers of gear, can go farm and not be stuck behind RNG. I'd love to see the draft implemented in a meaningful way with a rank or visible elo, but that's subject for another video, and I've already made a few dozen of them. Winter update is a success. Go play it. I'll meet you there at twitch.tv/stuck on Pandora. P.S. Something I've just recently learned. Your command rank weighs in on the quality of the roll you're receiving in the gear packs, on your command packs. So go hit that 150, and later.
Epic level gear identified, Commander. Holy crap! Legendary gear identified. Legendary gear identified. Commence screaming and jumping and shouting and running.